Guys, I'm back with another video, and this video I was really worried about making, but I really want to do something like it because I know I mentioned this before, but making modern houses or just any type of modern building is not my strong suit. I much prefer traditional kind of buildings or basing a house off of a specific style, sort of like the Hamptons house that I did, or just like a traditional house style. So this worried me a lot because with modern houses, a lot of it is just using your own creativity, and I am a little bit worried about making a modern build look good because to me it's just like, how do I make a block look good? Because with modern builds you often don't have like the traditional roofs, and I really like making the roofs turn a build into what it is, and I don't have that here. So I was a little bit nervous about it, but I think it ended up working out all right. So this is basically the first real attempt I've made at doing a modern house in The Sims. I think I did one on my gallery a while ago, but it didn't really work out. I kind of gave up halfway, and I didn't really do any of the landscaping or the furnishing. Pretty sure there's not even a driveway. It's just like two garages with nothing leading up to it. So it's a pretty bad modern house, but I really wanted to give it a real try, especially share with you guys to see what you guys thought, because I know I'm not the best at building everything, so I wanted to give it a shot challenging myself. So I just thought it'd be a little fun to do this. So this house is huge. It's way bigger than I intended, but I do like to make my house super big just in case like I want to have big living spaces, so then I have enough bedrooms, or enough space to make bedrooms and bathrooms. So I ended up doing that, but I definitely overestimated how much space I would need. So I did end up with 18 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms. So I know that's like a lot because you only have 8 Sims in your household. So the max number of bedrooms you would ever need is 8 anyways, maybe plus maybe some guest rooms or whatever, some extra rooms. But I just assumed that, you guys are going to download this and play it however you want. So I left these extra rooms just in case, because maybe what you want to do is you would want to, take the walls in between 2 bedrooms, because there are some bedrooms that are adjoining. So you might want to take the walls out in between those and combine them, and then you're able to make those 2 smaller bedrooms into one big one. So I left that as an option, and you could also, turn some of the bedrooms into art studios or music studios, or just some other lounge area, or like just any other room that could be used as a living space. So I just left that open because, you guys can do whatever you want to the house once you download it. So I just left that as an option. I realized I had way too many bedrooms because the main level already has bedrooms on it. I think a couple, 2 or 3. Then the second and third levels also have plenty of bedrooms on them. And then I also did a lower level. You can see here to the right, that's going to be the lowest level. And right now I'm using the pristine pedestal. I love the pristine pedestal because it kind of creates that smooth transition from in between levels, because I know in The Sims 3 we had that foundation tool to do it, but we don't really have that in The Sims 4. So I use the pristine pedestals to kind of hide that sloping terrain area, which I think is kind of ugly, but it's okay. So I tried to fix it. And that downstairs area also has a master bedroom and bathroom, as well as a powder room. So I think it's just a smaller bathroom. So there's plenty of space, and there is still a lot of space that I left that is just open living area. I have a living room, a dining room, a kitchen. I have a living room on the 3rd level as well, and I have a gym on the 1st level. And there's a front pool and a back pool and lots of living space outside. What I ended up doing with the terrain is I had some extra terrain after I did all my plants, so I did not know what to do with it, and I decided to go creative and do something I've never done before, which is place half walls in this sort of area that the extra lawn space is in, and then I used the terrain tool in a square to make the long rectangles to make the terrain look like it was mowed by a lawnmower recently. So I've seen some other builders do that, and I just thought that was a really interesting idea. And another idea that I took in this build is, of course, my favorite builder, Kate Emerald. She sizes up the windows and deletes the walls to create these giant, huge windows, and I really wanted to do that. So I definitely did that in this build a lot, and I kind of made the whole build cohesive, because I do have some trouble sometimes turning a build making one side of the build in a modern house match with the other sides. So I did want to make that kind of a cohesive theme. So I thought that helped at kind of bring my ideas together as, using these huge windows as a theme throughout the build. And right now I'm deciding on my color scheme, so I'm basically making it very monochromed. I'm making it black and white. I often like to add colors to my builds, and not all builds are going to be super colorful, so like in real life even. So I just wanted to figure out how to do it in a way that wasn't too boring, but still I still wanted to bring your attention to it. The curb appeal, I think, is really important for houses. So yeah, I'm using a lot of the island living floor pieces, and those are the clear pieces so that you can look through onto the ground. So I use that a lot in the areas that I had connected to the sized up windows, and I also use it in the walkway here. And what I do is I put plants underneath the walkway, so you can kind of see what you're walking over as you're walking over. And I just thought that was pretty interesting, so I wanted to do that, and I did that a lot throughout the build. And right now I'm adding lights. I do add a lot of lights. I wanted to pop a lot at night, and I don't think I show all of it because it's kind of a tedious, boring kind of thing to do. But I do add a lot of lights, and I end up kind of making these pathways throughout the landscaping where I use this mix of this black and white kind of tile. So just to create a sort of patterned pathway. And I didn't want to use terrain paint as much in this build because I wanted to use a lot of the tiling, because that way I can make some super straight, super smooth walkways without having to, try and position my terrain painter in a super square way, because that's very hard. I had to do that for the kind of lawn mower pattern in the front and the back of the house, and I did not want to do that any more than I had to. It's a pain because you have to paint it and you have to erase the paint that goes over the line, and it's just a whole mess. So I did not want to have to deal with that. But right now I'm figuring out the third level. I kind of did this house in pieces. I did the right side, then I sort of did the left side to the door, and then I started adding on to the left side of that, and then I started shaping the left side of the build, and then I sort of put the whole black thing together. So I definitely did this kind of in random bouts. I did not just do it all in a normal order. I just kind of added where I thought it would look good to add. So right now I'm playing with the back. It does take me a little while to figure that out. I think I end up going back to it after I do the pristine pedestals here. So right now I'm adding those around this whole thing. And I had an issue because I had to do the pristine pedestals next to the terrain, because if they went right under with that level of the terrain beneath it, it would clip over. So it was like flickering, and I did not want to see that flickering. So what I did is I just placed them next to it, and I end up making it look more cohesive anyways, because what I end up doing is I end up adding planters. I size up planters, and I raise them up and I put them there. So it's not just some boring white slab. It's actually some decoration. So right now what I'm doing is to be able to place the pristine pedestals underneath that side of the house there. I had to lower the terrain just a little bit so it didn't clip through. So I could have done that through the whole thing, but I realized I kind of liked the charm of adding the plants through the area. So I will do that in a little bit, but I just thought it'd be really fun to do, and something kind of different that I've never done before. And I definitely did a lot of things that I've never done before in this build. I'm sort of experimenting, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. It did take me a pretty long time to do it. It took me a while, but I definitely think it was worth it. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it. So here I am just figuring out the window situation in the back. I didn't want to do the sized up windows in the back because I wanted to be a little bit different, and I didn't want to add the extra area there because, the extra area in the front, I was going to already put some living chairs in there, and I do end up doing that, so I didn't want to add too much to the back also. So here I am using my pristine pedestal, and I love using these, sizing them up, sizing them down, using them to cover up the terrain, as I said, and just the pieces where there wouldn't be a foundation. But one issue with them, especially if you're building on a budget, is that they are $1,000, I think, so adding a lot to your house, which I definitely added a lot to this lot, it will increase the price, and I do think that this house ends up being about $800,000. So I mean, not super bad for an 18-bedroom house, I guess, right? But it's still a lot more expensive than a normal house would be, at least you're starting to play within The Sims. You would definitely need cheats to build or to live in a house like that. So that's why I often just go into edit world mode and I don't bother with the household or anything, which I know ends up meaning I can't play test, but I think it's worth it in the end because it's just so much. I'm really messing with those windows, aren't I? Sorry, that was so off topic. I just think it's so much effort just to go through all your households and have to add money, and I just think the efficient way to do it is just go into the world. So I have evicted many people from their households because I want to delete the lots and build on them. So I definitely have done that, and even though I don't really do the gameplay, when I do, my Sims world is just a little bit messed up because, a lot of her houses are just random empty mansions that no one can afford to live in, and half of the lots are empty because I'm planning on building on them, or I just clear them and I'm planning a build I'm going to do on them. So luckily I don't do gameplay that much. I just do a lot of the building. So as I've done in my last few build videos that I've uploaded, I did not decorate the bedrooms. First of all, there were way too many. Second of all, I thought it would get repetitive, so I just decided not to do it. I'm definitely more of an exterior builder than an interior builder, and that was one of the struggles that I had building this because I'm not used to building or to decorating modern interiors. I'm definitely not used to building the exteriors, and I'm sure as heck not used to decorating them. So I definitely tried. I used inspiration from other YouTubers. The Sims Dream is really good at doing modern interiors, and so is Kate Emerald, and just some other YouTubers that I watched to get ideas from. And I just decided that basically monochrome is the way to go. I thought that using the city living items were good, some of those, and also some of the dine out items. I love the dine out side table, the marble one, and I use that a lot. I've seen so many people use that in builds, and I just thought that was a perfect thing to add to make it super modern. Aside from that, I basically, just kept it monochrome, like I said, and I wanted to keep it super open. I feel like the houses I do a lot are kind of traditional. They kind of are, the kitchen is here and the dining room is off here and there's a separate room for the living room, but I wanted to make it kind of more cohesive and fluid so that everything was more open, and I just thought that had more of a modern feel as well. Just especially looking at the outside of the house, you're kind of assuming that this is going to be a big open house because just the way it looks. So I really wanted that exterior to match the interior we were thinking, because to me it's really important when building to try to match that way it looks on the outside to the way it looks on the inside, because what you're expecting from the outside kind of comes from, or what you're expecting on the inside kind of comes from what you're seeing on the outside. So I thought that would be pretty important. So I did try to make them match at least a little bit. So this is the last section of the house that I'm creating, the back right corner of the house. I was really drawing a blank here. I didn't know what to put exactly, so I did go around and avoid it for a little bit. So here I am, adding some railings and stuff and working on the basement area a little bit more, but I do eventually, have to go back to it. So what I end up doing is I pretty much do the same kind of thing I did on the front. The very first thing I did for the build, I created the giant windows, and then I had that little area in between that open area because it isn't counted as a room. So I did need to have that little open area, and then I created the windows behind that leads to the actual build. So I did that, but facing the left side of the build, I guess looking from the front, it's the left side. So I have that little side area over there. And first, I do not know what I'm doing. So right here, I'm just kind of playing with it. I think sometimes it helps to play around with it a little bit just to see what you can get it to look like. And then, change it up if it doesn't work. Because right now I'm like, this looks like a big block. I want to create some different kind of a style here. I don't want it just to look, bland and boring. So here I am creating the sides, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place the giant windows again. So I do think that ends up looking pretty good on the side there, and I think it really helped me create the roofing on this side, because what I did is I created that same roofing that I did on the front side, the first side that I did, with that roof, with the roofs going up from the tall parts and the the clear roofs going up from the window parts. So I did that on this side, but then I ended up extending them so that they would reach the whole left side of that building, the left side of the house. So you'll see that in a little bit, but basically I think it adds a lot to the build because it doesn't make the whole build, no roof or roof. It makes it a combo of that, and I think that modern builds are really important. It's really important to be able to do that because you can't just make, like, I'm used to making all my houses with roofing, so I thought that it would be a challenge to kind of make it a mix of that, and I think it's hard because a lot of super modern builds don't have any roofs, and a lot of just flat roofs, and then a lot of traditional builds, like the ones I build, have only roofs, only the slanted roofs, so I just really tried to challenge myself and create something that had both of them, so that was a perfect opportunity for me to do that, and I knew I was going to end up doing that from the beginning because, I create that area with the black roofs and the clear roofs, so I was like, I know I'm going to add this island living clear panel that I'm putting down now, so I knew some of the roofs are going to have to be flat. So here I'm adding them, and I'm trying to make them slanted the same, and then I add them through here, and then what I end up doing is I add another clear roof on top of that, and what I end up doing is I sort of extend the eaves of it up so that you can, so that they meet the roof in the middle, but they still show some of that, the clear island living glass panes down through the build. And I know what I'm saying is kind of confusing, but you will see it in a second, and it will hopefully will make sense to you. A lot of the things in Sims are super confusing because you don't know what they're called and you don't know what to say about them, how to explain them, but then you'll be like, oh, look here, that's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm doing right here, basically. So I'm able to fit those glass panes in. And I end up just making that whole right side of the roofing black, just to make it, sort of cohesive and fit together. So now what I'm doing here is I'm just adding some more windows. I love what I did with the windows here because it starts with the wall windows, and then it's the roof windows, and then it goes to the glass pane flat roof windows, and then it goes to those windows there. And I really tried to kind of make that a trend in this build. Like, you see how I have those big windows, what leads up from them are the glass panes, and then what leads up from that is another glass window on the side. So I just really wanted to kind of create that motif of, like, the windows are extending all the way from the side over the house and to the front, so that whole window kind of goes from the front side all the way over the top of the build into the back. And I just thought that was kind of fun because it's not like you look at the front and you look at the back and it's a different build. It's kind of like the build kind of flows from the front to the back and kind of extends, and you know what you're looking at the whole time because you're like, wow, like, this is really connected. And I just really tried to kind of bring that idea into my build. So because this build is so big, I definitely do not have that much to say about it. So I am going to cut to music. You really don't want to talk about it the whole time. I don't have that much to say, and a lot of what I'm showing can just be self-explained just by what you're seeing. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this. And oh yeah, what I'm trying to do right now is to get rid of those walls, but I do end up keeping them, and I just lower the slant of that because the columns and everything were not working with me. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the rest of this build. I'm about to do some more of the paths and the landscaping, and then I move to the interior, and then after that I move into decorating the exterior just with furniture and all that. So I did have a lot of outdoor space, and I didn't fill all of it, but I did fill as much as I could. And I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know what you think. Share this if you like it. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for builds for me to do. I'm going to put on some music, and I hope you guys enjoy. See you later.